Tonight's game reaction and breakdown, Waterfowl Wednesdays, and much more on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Kyle Carr, and I've been a lifelong Ducks fan, and I've covered collegiate sports for multiple years, even college hockey. But today we're talking about Anaheim Ducks hockey. First off, we're going to go into today's game reaction and a little breakdown of how things went tonight in Utah. Then going to get into Waterfowl Wednesdays, my weekly segment, and then talking about whether or not this is the end of the Ducks run for the season. First off, we got to get into tonight's game. It was Radko Gudas's 12th anniversary of entering the NHL. Literally to the date, he entered his first game with the Tampa Bay Lightning 12 years ago. So congratulations to Radko and a wonderful, successful career. Tonight, Billy Husso gets the net for the first time as an Anaheim Duck. Really good to see him entering the net. Honestly, he came out really strong, and the performance he put tonight was pretty fantastic. Unfortunately, Ducks could not get him the win. They did drop this one 3-2 to Utah. Utah ended up having a very, very quick lead off the hop. The Ducks were coming out flying. They seemed like they were playing pretty good hockey at the beginning, but it was quickly visible that Utah was the hungrier team. Utah, going into tonight's game, was 2 points ahead of the Ducks, and now they are 4 points ahead. They were at 67, the Ducks at 63, and now they have 69 points, and the Ducks are straggling behind. They had 65 points. Now they have 67. The Ducks still at 63. So a little unfortunate the Ducks could not get the win tonight in that playoff race. A little bit of the breakdown of what happened and how the goals were scored. Josh Doan, great hockey family. Shane Doan, his father, did a lot of great things out in Arizona. Now Josh Doan joins the Utah Hockey Club, and tonight he was on full display. For the first breaker of the ice tonight, the first goal of the game, he enters the zone with a lot of speed on a transition play. Delays, kind of gets the Ducks disoriented. He delays, pulls back, waits, finds the trailer defenseman, hands it over to him. That guy puts it through, and then that's Ian Cole it is. And Jack McBain just right down the middle, kind of doing a flyby, gets it, tips it in. Seems like the Utah MO all night tonight was this flyby type style of play. They'd work the perimeter, kind of work the D to D a lot, and then a little bit of the bumper, sometimes get it down below net and come back up high. But then in the middle, there was at least someone flying right in the middle of the zone. You had centers, wingers, even the defense. They would just, as they'd rotate, they would try to get that flyby right as the shot would come through and get a deflection. Looked like Husso had to make some crazy saves tonight. A couple he got lucky on that hit the post, but he was definitely having to move his feet and spread out, kind of playing that lateral movement type style of game with that. Troy Terry, one of the guys that I've been talking about for the last few episodes and broke down last night in my tea time. He is just playing outstanding hockey. The whole night, his name was being called. He was entering the zone with a lot of offense, a lot of pressure, a lot of speed, battles in the corners. Like this guy, I tell you, everything that doesn't show up on a score sheet, all the like under the hood analytics, that kind of stuff, that's where Troy Terry accelerates, and it was on full display tonight. Unfortunately, he could not get a point, but most of the offense that was generated was due to Terry and entering the zone with speed, causing havoc. He's just overall such a strong heads-up player. So, again, I was really rooting for him to get one. He almost got a redirect tonight, but I know he's going to break through soon on the offensive sheet when it comes to the goals column. He's been doing fantastic in the assists as he does lead the team in points overall. Moving in later into the game, there was a call that I did not like. It was a too many men on the ice penalty. Seemed like the refs were a little soft when it came to the penalties tonight. The too many men, Vetrano and Strome skating to the bench, clearly not in play, like sticks up. They're just getting to the bench. I mean, you could say they could have hustled and gotten off the ice a little quicker, but the end of a long shift, it's kind of gamesmanship, a little that's it happens in the NHL all the time. You see changes like that where the guys that are getting off the ice kind of lackadaisically get to the bench and the two guys hop over the boards. For some reason tonight, the refs decided that was a penalty. Don't know. Kind of a weird coincidence because later in the game, Killorn, literally almost the exact same thing, except Killorn was on the bench this time. He gets off, and then the puck from Karlsson gets fed to him, and he scores the tying goal of the game. But it was pretty much the exact same type of change. So I don't know. The refs were a little weird tonight. They also called a weak penalty on Karlsson for cross-checking. He got 2 minutes tonight. It looked like he was just trying to reach, and he kind of lifted the bottom hand to make it look like a cross-check. But honestly, I think he was just trying to battle, and the Utah player went down pretty easily. Another penalty that just was not a fan of. But luckily for the Ducks tonight, Sergachev on the Utah squad, he decided to, have a little bit of discipline issues. There was a little battle against the boards, and he claims that he got elbowed by Vetrano, but he blatantly elbows Vetrano in the back of the head right in front of the officials. So he goes to the box for 2 minutes. The Ducks could not capitalize on that power play. It was very frustrating. I don't know what is going on with the special teams coach, but they tried the same entry, different skater, but the exact same entry multiple times. They go up, they do the little drop back pass. They used to do this with Fowler all the time too, and it would drive me nuts then. They do the little drop back pass to the D. D goes skating it up, or Terry goes skating it up, has all the momentum, has a clear lane to break through, and decides to just pass it off to a static guy standing on the blue line, and then it gets shut down, or it either gets thrown in, Utah collects and clears it, and then they have to restart the whole thing again. It happened multiple times. They could barely get the the power play unit set up within the O-zone. The entries just weren't there. And then, like I said, luckily, Sergachev decided to be undisciplined tonight, gets a hooking as soon as the penalty or the power play ends. They did not capitalize on it. Gets a hooking. They go back on the power play. Could not get an entry. Finally, they threw one on kind of weakly onto the Utah goaltender. He covers it, and then with a beautiful feed from Zegras to McTavish. McTavish gets the one-timer, and that got the Ducks the first goal of the game for them. And then that Killorn goal later tied it. But then, unfortunately, the Ducks gave up a really, really rough third goal that gave them that gave Utah the lead. It was a pretty just unfortunate goal. Ducks seemed like they just looked defeated though after that goal. It was really a really down game from them. It just that you could not see anything going on. They get a penalty. Then Utah gets on the power play and basically does the reverse power play move on them. They move the puck around. The penalty killers for the Ducks get sucked in, and then a massive one-timer from Utah gets in the back of the net, gives them the lead back. And like I said, after that, it was just like the Ducks were not even on the ice. 22 giveaways tonight by the team. A lot of mental mistakes. I know it was a back-to-back. They got into Utah at 3 a.m. They played a big game against Washington last night, but you still got to put in the effort. There still has to be effort and drive to get those 2 points or at least get 1 point out of the game. It was a 1-goal game. But the look on the way they were skating, the way they were playing at the end there, it was like they were down 3 goals and just had no chance of tying it. So not sure what's going on there. Kind of unfortunate. Do not want to see these guys looking defeated. A big note from tonight's game, though. Cronin did mix up the lines. He had Zegras playing with Terry and Strome, McTavish with Colangelo and Vetrano, and then Goche with Killorn and Carlson. So a little mix up there. And then he had the fourth line was Leeson. Oh my gosh. Johnston, just drew a complete blank there. And Isaac Lundestrom for the fourth line. So little change up there as Harkins gets the healthy scratch for the night, and still no Killington in the lineup yet. So just an unfortunate loss for the Ducks tonight. Like I said, they just seemed to drop the ball, looked very defeated. Not even just a tired squad. It was the defeated look, like the Ducks of old. Just very, not a lot of drive, not a lot of effort, kind of just no initiative. That's the word I've been looking for. There was zero initiative tonight when it came to the Ducks trying to get the tie, other than Troy Terry. I mean, that guy I don't think can ever slow down or give up any. Like, Troy Terry is the guy. He will always battle. So coming up next, we got Waterfowl Wednesday. Gonna look at any injuries, the trade obviously happened last week, and then just some rough plays that occurred and anything like that. So stay tuned for Waterfowl Wednesday. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. I am not a big NBA fan, but I love March Madness. It is the best time of the year for basketball. I love the way that these college guys are playing for their schools. It's all about the name on the front, not the name on the back. Some of the schools don't even have the names on the back, but this is the time to get in on the bets, Cinderella stories, the underdogs coming through. You got all the heart, all the drama, and you can get in on it with FanDuel. I love using it. You can get in as soon as you turn off hockey, check in on March Madness. You can see what bets are going on. So I absolutely love it. Visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. All right, guys, we're back, and we got Waterfowl Wednesdays coming your way. Not a lot to talk about on this one, as there's no new injuries to report at this time. Fabry's still out with that broken bone in the hand. John Gibson still out with his lower body injury. Looks like he's day-to-day still, as they keep sending Husso back down to the AHL for their games and then bringing him back up to play with us. They brought him up for the road trip the last 2 nights. So we'll see how things go before Friday's game, but that's really it when it comes to the injury front. I'd say the biggest foul of the week was the defensive breakdowns. It was embarrassing. Honestly, it's been a minute since I've seen the Ducks kind of flounder like this, no pun intended, but it was really just a lot of mental mistakes the last few games. I know it's a young D squad, but honestly, it almost wasn't even the defensemen themselves that were kind of giving up these D breakdowns. It was more the forwards this time around. Not sure if they're trying to mix things up in practice or changing things or trying to implement some new units and structure and systems into their play when it comes to the defensive zone and defensive play. I know Brian Dumoulin was a big part of the stability when it came to defense back in the back end, but overall, everyone's still there. Brian Dumoulin is out, but now we got Zellweger, who's quick and fast, and he's been playing really well. We got Minchikov that's able to play every game now. He's also been playing pretty sound. Trubo's been shutting guys down. Gudis, he's been playing well. There was a couple times, especially against Washington, and then even tonight, I noticed he does seem to get a little caught in the back behind the net, trying to engage with guys. Even on the TNT broadcast tonight, they mentioned that this Ducks squad, they're a very Riley bunch, and you got to kind of keep your head on a swivel if you're playing against them, as they're not really going to make those plays for the puck's sake, but they're going to try to put the body on you. And they definitely have been noticeable within that, the hit column. We'll talk about that later in the show, about some of the numbers that matter looking in the future here and looking back at the last few games. But the physicality has definitely been there. Unfortunately, just the mental mistakes, the mental breakdowns have been costing the team a lot. There needs to be a big talk about discipline, about structure, and making sure that everyone is on the same page when it comes to the defense. The last few games, it's like as soon as they get hemmed in for not even 5 seconds in their defensive zone, I'm stressing. I can feel my heart rate going up. I'm like getting anxiety because I feel like it's just a matter of one little play and it's going to end up in a goal because they cannot get the puck out. I don't know what is going on. It just seems like they are just having the hardest time getting the puck out of the defensive zone. Like the chips, the clears, it's just they're not getting it out, and then they're causing turnovers, and it's creating havoc for the team. Notice, especially on the power play, that's definitely a foul right now. The special teams has just been really rough. Granted, they have gotten a couple power play goals in the last few games, which is good to see, but overall their percentage still not going that well. And the power play goals that have gone in, either like the one-timer tonight, or there was the odd man rush that they had the other night, which was kind of a lucky goal in that aspect. The power play cannot get anything going. There's too much passing. There's not enough shots on net. They're getting sucked in. And I don't know, the board play has been very rough for me to watch with the pinching. They go to pinch against the boards and it just slips right by them. And then they got to go recollect it, reset up. It's just been frustrating. It's like everything that they're doing wrong in the defensive zone is done to them right when they're in the offensive zone. So I know these are the growing pains that we have to deal with as a fan base for this younger squad, and they are playing well. And because of the way that, like, the position they're in, I feel like I'm feeling a little more frustrated than I would if they were at the level they were last year. But because of the success that they've been having, I've been feeling just a little anxious, a little frustrated, and a little upset about it. Trades. Obviously, the trade deadline, it ended last week, so there will be no trades until the offseason. However, the only thing that I was going to tell you about was whether or not something happened when it came to Waterfowl Wednesday, and nothing did. Really, the only trade was Brian Dumoulin, and we all saw that one coming. He went off to New Jersey, covered it in my trade deadline coverage previously. So Dumoulin out, and then we did get Killington from technically the Islanders, but he never saw New York. He was on the Avalanche squad, and then he got traded into the Islanders program, and then the same day before even anything could happen, he got traded to Anaheim. So, and that was for future considerations. Everyone's favorite player. Everybody loves that guy. Future considerations. What a hard worker they are. So we're definitely going to miss them, but looking forward to get Killington in. And I put that as one of my notes for Waterfowl Wednesday, is that would be nice to get him at least some play time. I know he kind of came in to be the seventh defenseman, but it would be good to at least get him iced for one game. Let maybe one of the guys kind of rest. I know we want to see Zellweger and Minchikov in, at least I do as a fan, and the Ducks have their plan for them, but would be intrigued to see if the Ducks could put Killington in the lineup. And then the biggest other last waterfowl thing that I have for you is just the puck luck has not been so lucky. It seems like the Ducks cannot get any advantage when it comes to puck luck. That Washington game was abysmal when it came to the puck luck. There were so many bounces, so many chances, so many second chances, so many third chances, and somehow the puck just wasn't going in. And then tonight, kind of the same thing. They had a couple opportunities where off of rebounds or off the boards or down low, and they just couldn't get that secondary shot without the goaltender covering up. So hopefully the puck luck can turn around for this squad in the next few games. Talking about the next few games, after this, we're going to be talking about what's going on with this run. Is it the end? Is it over for this squad? Or are they still going to be resilient and possibly pull out a miracle run here at the end of the year? We'll talk about that more coming up. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Well, that's easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs put your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. I've had to hire someone to help with the film edit. And if it wasn't for Indeed, I would have hired someone who was a print editor or a photo editor or an editor of something else. But with Indeed, I was able to get an actual film editor who knew what they were doing, and I didn't have to have some sloppy material at the end. If it wasn't for Indeed sponsored jobs, I don't know what I would have done. Indeed sponsored jobs helps put the roles you're hiring for in front of the right people. Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Are you hiring? Indeed is all you need. All right. This is it. Or is it? Is it the end? Or is it the beginning of a miracle? I want to say it's the beginning of a miracle, but the way things are looking and the way that tonight went with the team, it's looking a little rough, guys. It's looking a little rough. I wish I could tell you better, but the way I saw the team play tonight just looked like such a defeated squad. Like I said, it looked like the Ducks of old. Just the lack of confidence, the lack of initiative, the lack of mental awareness. So many times the body language that I saw was, nah, you got it. You go, you do it. Oh, you're not gonna do it. I'm supposed to do it. Oh, shoot! Like just a lot of defeat and tiredness, and I'm not sure if the Capitals game just kind of put the dagger in them, and then being tired tonight. I don't know. Tomorrow is a good day off. Hopefully it looks most likely they'll have a voluntary practice and a day off for the guys to rest after the back-to-back. Hit the ice for practice on Friday before the Predators game. So honestly, it's going to be Friday will be the determining factor. I can't give a definitive answer right now. The way that this team has been so up and down and all around and bringing my hopes up and bringing my hopes down and making me yell at my TV and making me jump for joy. It has been such a roller coaster as a Ducks fan, especially in the last few months. So I want to say that it's not the end, but there are some things that are very concerning. I don't know what's going on with the coaching staff and the special teams. It's killing me. I'm going to be talking about this probably every day until they get it turned around, because I am so over watching failed attempt after failed attempt of trying to enter the zone with this, excuse my French, stupid back pass method of trying to enter the zone rather than just attacking with the speed that they have. They have so many players that can bust through. They're physical, they're big, they have speed. That's what Cutter Gauthier was brought here for. Troy Terry can do it. Zellweger can do it. There's so many guys on the team. Zegras, I know he's got a more skill set than this. It's driving me nuts. They need to figure out a better method. It's like every single team has the Anaheim Ducks power play in the books. They look at the notes. Oh, yep. We know what to do tonight for the penalty kill. Don't worry about that. And there's got to be some change going on. And then when they do finally get set up, it's pretty obvious. All they're trying to do is get this one-timer for McTavish on the sides, or Zegras if he moves down below, if he's not working the blue line, or Vetrano once his unit comes out. So something's got to give for the special teams. The penalty killers on it for the Ducks have been really well tonight. Yeah, they gave up one, but it was a tired squad, back to back, getting in 3 a.m. The penalty kill, they were doing well, but then just the movement by the Utah squad led to them kind of getting sucked in, gave the Utah players room, gave them the one-timer opportunity, and it finds the back of the net. But when it comes to the power play, there's just got to be more. I don't know. I want to see guys taking initiative. I felt like we saw that in the Islanders game. Like I said, I was so excited. Shooters were shooting. There was a lot of good offensive opportunities being brought by that. Guys were attacking the net with speed. But then tonight, there was a couple times I'm watching Zegras. He's going through the neutral zone. He's got speed. He's got control of the puck. And I could sense, I'm like, he has every opportunity to go and try to go get a nice shot on net, but he's going to try to look for the pass. I know he's a playmaker type mentality, but there are times when it's just, you got to shoot, my man. And sure enough, he's coming in, going north to south, hits the blue line and turns to the right, looks for the pass. Instead of still bringing the puck down low, he turns, everyone gets clogged up on the blue line. He tries to make a pass. It gets turned over. Utah takes it down and almost scores. It was so frustrating. So I don't know what Cronin's got to do to get to these guys' heads, to give them the confidence and to rebuild that and just be like, guys, go to the net. Go, crash the net, shoot, get the puck down low, take it. There was a great play tonight by Carlson that was a perfect example. Takes it down with speed, goes wide, gets down low, goes back behind the net, feeds it right back low to high to Trouba, and Trouba could have scored, but the McBain freaking just sells himself out. Puck hits him in the back of the elbow. Ugh. But I don't know if you guys were watching the TNT broadcast, but if you go watch that, literally as soon as Trouba gets it and McBain hits it, someone on the Utah bench just starts banging their stick on the boards. He's like, "Where to go, Bainer?" I was cracking up at that. But that was all because of Leo Carlson using his speed and taking the puck down low. That is what the Ducks need to do more. Quickly, going over some numbers that matter. In the last 8 games, their average hits, 22.8. Average block shots, 14.6. Those are pretty good numbers, especially in the defensive column. The number that's not so good, the average giveaways, 15.9. They had 22 giveaways in tonight's game against Utah. The Ducks need to make their mental mistakes not in there anymore. They got to lock that down. 15.9, almost 16 giveaways a game. Not going to help them with the win column. But then looking at shots on goal for, average for the Ducks, 25.1 shots on goal per game in the last 8 games. So that's really good. They're getting shots through. They are shooting the puck a little bit more than they were last year, but they still got to get it back in the net. And then on the other hand, unfortunately, shots on goal against is average of 31.9. So almost 32 shots a game that they're giving up on goal to the opponents. That's about 6 to 7-ish more shots on goal for the opponents than the Ducks are getting for themselves. So some good things to build upon, some things to work on. I do not think it is exactly the end. Friday will be a big determination of the way that they approach the game, the way they play against the Predators. Predators are one of those teams, kind of like Utah, but a little bit lower with how their season went, but their skill set is very high. So to see how the Ducks do on home ice against the Predator squad, that will be a very big determinant factor. We'll see how their body language is. We'll see how they use their speed and how they attack the net on Friday. So tomorrow, I'm going to break down some more stuff, just kind of looking at the future of the team, looking into what is up to come for the Ducks and the squad and just what the future holds. So tune in tomorrow, little day off for the team, but we've got coverage here. We don't take days off except for the weekends on Locked On Anaheim Ducks. So thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe and share with all your friends. Get the word out there. Locked On Anaheim Ducks is back and strong, and we are buzzing just like this young Ducks squad. So thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast, bringing you the daily league-wide stories that matter with the local coverage that you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you tune in and listen to podcasts. Again, I'm Kyle Carr. Thanks for listening and be good out there.